Hello, everybody. How's it going? Very, very good afternoon to all of you. Okay. So if you are here and you're on this live, give me a quick shout out. Hello, everybody. That's Nisa. Woohoo! Hello. That's really, really nice and long. All right. So guys, give me a quick shout out. Where are you listening from? If you're on this and you want to learn how to coach your employees' mistakes, give me a quick uh, just share, introduce yourself to everybody, guys. If you're in Kuala Lumpur, you're logging in from Penang, or you're logging in from another country, let me know. Abdul Majid, how are you doing? How's it going? Hello. Joe, hello. That sounds like something I would say. All right, guys. How many of you are getting back into Adrian? All right. How many of you guys are getting back into the work mode? Yeah, I know we've been working all this while, but working from home is very different from getting back into the office. How many of you are in the office? Yeah, you're already back into traveling on the road. Yeah, back to seeing customers. How many of you are doing that? Let me know. And today we want to rock and roll. One of the things that I really want to say I'm really thankful for is Abdul Majid from Pakistan. Oh my gosh. Hey, actually, I think I have responded to one of your questions on YouTube before, Abdul Majid. I'm not sure if you're the same Abdul Majid. All right. All the way from Pakistan, guys. Let's say hello from Malaysia. All right, so guys, let's go jumping in. Today we have a very interesting topic, and I'm all full on with wanting to give you guys amazing insights today. So before I go into today, let me see. Let me get some responses from everybody. How many of you are leaders? Okay, if you're leaders, you're working in a company, you're in senior management, or you're in middle management, or you're even an executive wanting to get to management. Just let me know. Just put leader. If you're a business owner, then put business. All right. So then I get to see how many of you are looking at different areas of leadership. Now that's very, very important. So I'm gonna go jumping in today. All right, guys. So if I can show you my screen. Okay, share screen, and let's jump right in. Okay, all right. Okay, so if you can see my screen here today, guys, today we're going to talk a lot about, so this episode number 7 of, okay, leader. Thank you so much, Adrian. All right, more coming, guys. Please let me know, are you a leader or are you a business owner? Are you running a business or are you within the business? Your management, you're helping people grow their business. All right, so either way, leadership is critical. Thank you so much, Joe. Awesome, awesome. So episode number 7 today is coaching employees' mistakes. So how many of you employees do make mistakes? They do struggle. Sometimes they're doing things for the first time and then they make those mistakes. And sometimes they make those mistakes over and over again. Now, if I may, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say this. When your team members are making mistakes, it is a sure sign. It is a sure sign that they are doing something new. Most of the time when we're struggling with doing something for the first time and we're not sure, you see, most of the time we make mistakes because we are doing something that we're not certain about. We either don't have the skills or the competencies to, so we make some of those mistakes doing them. So rest assured, you want to look at the nature of employees' mistakes. And I'm going to go into that as well. How do you treat some of the, what are some of the ways to treat the mistakes? And what are some of the good ways, resourceful ways, and what are some of the unresourceful ways? So I'm just going to go into that today. All right. So if I may, it's the first and foremost, it's not common sense. A lot of business owners, leaders, employers, they go, oh my gosh, how did she make the mistake again? Isn't it common sense? Yeah, a lot of people go, isn't it common sense? And that's the thing, is common sense is not common. When you say it's common, it means that I can see it. How can you not see it? So if I may, it's not common sense. You do need to communicate it. And all good leaders, all good business owners and employers, we're communicating what we want and what we don't want. That's called feedback. And that's very, very critical. It doesn't matter whether the person is in a management position, has been in the industry for 10 years, have had working experience of 20 years, you still need to offer feedback because it's not common sense. And that commonality comes after you've worked together for a while. And that's also the thing. After you've worked together for a while, you've worked with people for 5 years, you worked with people for 10 years, you find that, hey, you start taking certain things for granted. So you see, then the common sense that used to be common is now uncommon. So you want to also make sure that you're giving that very, very good feedback. Continue helping the people that work with you understand what you want and what you don't want. All right. So some of the worst ways to handle employees' mistakes. Okay, so there are some of the really, I'm going to share some resourceful, positive ways, some of the ways that, as a coach, a leader that knows how to coach, you want to handle mistakes this way, because sometimes when mistakes are handled poorly, if they're handled poorly, you're kind of programming your employees to react in a certain way when they make mistakes. So employees could become very fearful, or they could, make the mistake and then they'll try and cover it up, shove it under the carpet, you could do that, or, if they made a mistake, they react in strange ways. And all these strange ways, they are really reacting to the leaders. They're really so if I may, I want to share some of the worst ways to handle those employees' mistakes, guys. Is okay, number one, okay, worst ways. All right, you guys can probably come up with some of the worst ways as well, gang. If you're inside this group, inside this live program, and you've had some of the worst ways your bosses have spoken to you, please let me know. And number one, the first worst way is ridiculing in a group. All right, you're not even just giving that feedback respectfully in a group, is ridiculing. So if you're ridiculing somebody, or you've been ridiculed before, and this happens in your team, ridiculing would also mean making that person lose respect for himself and to start looking silly in a group, right? And you don't want that. So that's one of the worst ways to handle employees' mistakes. Okay. The second way is to blame and fault. All right. So this is very, very very important, because if, let's just say, a mistake happened, there's a difference between taking responsibility and blaming self, right? So if there's going to be such an instance where in your team, your leaders, when things go wrong, your leaders are looking for somebody to blame, it's like you're looking for somebody to take to be the scapegoat, to take the fault, then people are going to they're not going to want to step up. In your team, employees, they're going to do exactly that. When something happens, they're going to push it under the carpet and they'll pretend nothing's there. And a lot of time, because we coach so many CEOs, we coach so many business owners and leaders, what they find is when that person has left the organization, they find, oh my gosh, what's all this under the carpet? Okay, not literally under the carpet, but then you start finding, okay, there were loopholes, there were mistakes, suppliers were not paid, blah 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 blah. You get so many different things now. And that's the thing, because if an employee is trained to be fearful of making mistakes, it's not a safe space, then that's what's going to happen. Okay, so really, really good. Fantastic. All right. Third way. Okay, it's nagging. I had to put it in there. I had to put nagging because one of my ex-bosses used to do that. He used to nag me, and he'll say things like, "Oh my gosh, Marissa," and I'm really, really bad at Excel spreadsheets. I'm so glad I'm done with my banking world, my banking life, where I used to do so many spreadsheets, and Microsoft Excel is not my strength, and I had to do so much of it. And he would be giving me his stories like at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, talking about how his boss used to teach him how to do Microsoft Excel. And I hear the same story over and over again about macros, about formulas, about the colors of the cells. So I hear it over and over again. Okay. So number three, worst way, not nag. Okay. All right. Cool stuff. Guys, if any of this is making sense for you, please click on the emoticon. Just go bump. And if any of that speaks out to you, please leave your heart and heart and heart and heart. Because look, I'm speaking with you not just as a leadership coach, as a coach, but also as a CEO myself. But I too am was employed before, so I was in the workforce, and I've had all kinds of bosses. Some of them were good, some of them are not good, and all those experiences are making me want to be a different person. It makes me want to be a different person. How many of you know what I'm talking about when you've been the receiving end of that kind of bad bossing? Yeah. And we do our level best to try not to be those people for our team. You know what I mean, guys? Yeah. So I mean, nagging is terrible. It's like dripping water in the bag. Yeah. I know. Oh my god. I remind myself, am I nagging? Am I nagging? Because I didn't like it when my boss was doing that. Okay. So thank you so much. All right. A very important thing about handling the mistakes as well is the difference between leading and parenting. I just kind of put it out here because um, sometimes we tend to want to become the kinds of leaders and business owners that want to protect our employees from making mistakes. And I know a lot of business owners that do that, or leaders that do that, and they because of that they want to protect. They don't want the employees to make mistakes. So every step they're guiding, they're coaching, they're cajoling, they're instructing, and because of that, it becomes really hard for people to learn. And I just heard this story the other day of a business owner. She micromanages. Literally, there's a difference between micro and macro managing, but that's a whole different life. Yeah, I'll share that one other time. But she told me that she micromanages because she doesn't want them to make mistakes. And I'm going, how do you do that? And he goes, well, that's why. It's so tiring, it's exhausting. And I go, well, yeah, because you can't know what steps you're gonna take and what mistakes and very frankly, that is critical for employees to make their mistakes so that they can, what's the L word, guys? Can anybody help me? Drum roll. What's the L word? They make those mistakes so they can learn. So it's the learning process that is actually very, very important as well. All right. So guys, leading versus parenting. I mean, even as a parent, I don't know yet, but even as a parent, we can't. I have a parent, and I know my folks cannot parent me every step of the way and protect me from all the mistakes that I'm about to make as their daughter. So even as a parent, I can't be protecting my children, let alone leadership, protect my employees and manage them to a point where they don't make any mistakes. So yes, they are going to make them. The only thing you can be sure of is that they learn from it, and that's powerful coaching. Okay, so this is really, really awesome. Okay, just a little bit of information about me, guys. All right, quick commercial. My name is Marissa. If you don't already know, I'm the founder and CEO of the Spark Group Asia. We're working really, really hard, guys. For those of you who were here earlier with me, I was actually here with Azran Osman Rani, who is the CEO of Naluri Life. He's also the former CEO of AirAsia X, iFlix Malaysia. Amazing guy. So we've been doing a lot of lives. So there was a live interview earlier. We also had a training program. And now I'm here with you to teach you about being a better coach, being a better leader from being a better coach, being a better leader from enabling your skill in coaching. All right. So that's why we're here today. So thank you very much, guys. I think I'll skip this, but I'll talk a little bit about the Leadership Intelligence series. So for those of you who are interested, you've seen all of this on our on our website. You've seen all of this on our Facebook events as well. So for those of you who are interested, this topic today is very relevant if you are here to enable the coaching skill in yourself. Whether you're a senior manager, you're an executive, and then I want to be a manager one day, I'm a young executive and I want to grow my own team, or I want to start my own business, the coaching skill is important. And this is very crucial because a lot of time people, and this is an article that was written by Harvard Business Review around 10 future skills that all leaders are going to must have in the next 20 years and one of them that they listed is actually the skill of coaching. A lot of time people think that coaching is a third-party profession like me, like Marissa, you're a coach because you're on the outside of the business, but within the business, it's leadership, it's management, but it's also coaching. Coaching is about empowering and enabling people. Aside from that, you will have other programs like knowing your leadership intelligence, knowing who you are, building your leadership matrix, which is where you can understand the structures, the internal resources and structures to become a successful leader. A lot of how we get results is internally manifested. You're developing the strategies within for you to perform consistently externally, right? Leading your team from effective systems, the influential leader, and enabling the coaching culture. So tons, guys, but please go to the sparkgroup.asia/events and pick up the Leadership Intelligence series, okay? So join us for any one of these awesome workshops, okay? So guys, if you have any questions, just throw them in, yeah, and I'll be happy to jump into the chat to be able to help you out here, guys. But let's go into this, okay? So today we talked a little bit about coaching employees' mistakes. So what happens when an employee makes a mistake? So what do I do, right? And most of the time, it's really, really interesting because people react in so many different ways, especially leaders and business owners, think of, and you see, this is the beauty, is all of us have been led before, yeah? So think of the time where you've made a mistake. And what was the best ways that someone helped you, right? And think of the worst ways that someone helped you. Okay, not help. Yeah. So think of that and ask yourself, which one would you prefer? And so if I may, that's a lot of reflection, but as leaders, yeah, as employees, we don't want to do onto, as employees, if we've received that kind of treatment before, it also can reflect on what kind of leaders we're going to be, okay? So one of the first things when you are coaching employees and their mistakes is number one is the feedback has to be given privately. If I may, if you are experiencing a mistake, yeah, I've had this. This is a true story, and when I heard it, I was like, "What? You did what?" So there was a mistake that one of her finance executives did on a quotation, and so this particular project was the quotation was short of $5,000, right? So it was obviously a mistake in calculation, and this CEO, she made this person stand in the front, did a town hall, and so they had like maybe 40 employees, made her stand in front to talk about the mistake that she made, all right? And of course, it was supposed to be a lesson for everybody, but that person felt so bad and so silly. So I do know some CEOs and leaders that do that, I mean, this is not a small group, a meeting group. This is a town hall. It's a whole meeting, yeah? So if I may, a lot of time feedback, they're constructive feedback. Constructive feedback means feedback that the person will grow with, and then there's positive feedback. Positive feedback means stuff that she or he is doing well. So if you're giving positive feedback, this is what you did well, you can give that in a group. But if you're giving constructive feedback, yeah, it's not negative feedback. When you're giving constructive feedback, you want to give that privately, because on the aside, this person, when he or she is receiving that feedback, sometimes their responses are going, when they respond, if they are being given the feedback in a group, sometimes their responses are not going to be true because they are probably just being defensive. Now you've got to be cautious. You've got to be cautious that they are not going to give you a reaction because they are afraid of looking stupid. They don't want to look silly amongst all their peers. So when you're giving good feedback, you really want to draw them away in a private setting so that you can talk to the person. That person does not feel he or she needs to look anything else because defenses are drawn, but having a genuine conversation with the person instead. So this is actually very, very important. Okay. All right. Hope that's making sense for some of you. Okay. Another very, very important point here, guys, is as you are working with an employee to improve his or her mistakes, yeah, feedback is a very important tool. If I may, when you are a leader, when you're a manager, when you're in a senior position and you've got people under you, and this is a common understanding. When you have people that work with you in your team, throughout the day, you're busy, not just with your own work, but you're also busy, really busy with giving feedback. You're having conversations. Now, this is very, very crucial. And if I may, what you see over here is this really cute, kid from, I can't remember which sitcom this is from. It's a sitcom with a girl that's being acted out by two twins. Full House. Yes, Full House. Okay, so this is from Full House. I picked a photo for you, but I can't remember where it's from. So you know this. She would say, you know, you got a bad attitude. Now, how many of you know what I'm talking about? When you are speaking with your employees, and this also literal words that I've heard come straight out from a business owner's mouth. All right. When you say to your employee that that person has a bad attitude, and this were literally feedback and remarks that I've heard from a CEO, business owner about somebody else. He said to me, "Orang tu, sorry, yeah, in Bahasa Malaysia, but this person, I can't trust him to take on this project. He has a bad attitude." Now, in my mind, as a listener, in my mind, when I hear the CEO talk about his staff with bad, so maybe he is right. But the thing about this is, as a person listening, I cannot tell what is bad, what exactly is not right. So when you say somebody has a bad attitude, it does put this cover on the person. It's a generalized word, it's a personalized word, and when you use generalized and personalized words, it can harm the person more than support the person, because they would, this is feedback. This is feedback. What? Bad attitude lah, you, that's feedback. Hang on a minute. When you want to give feedback, the feedback has got to be specific. It's got to be based on observations and facts. So when that person displayed that poor attitude, when was that? It doesn't stop at bad attitude. When was that? What did you do? What were you supposed to do? What was expected of you? And then you did what? I also find it very strange when people say, your email was too slow. You know, you replied slowly. When you say something is slow versus what? So what's fast? What's acceptable? What's slow? So you've got to define that, and then that becomes good feedback. Feedback that's based on observations and facts. So this is crucial. Personalized words. This is very important as well, because when you use personalized words, you've got bad attitude, you know, you're very lazy, you're slow, you're, oh my God, you know, you get all of this. This can harm, you know, especially when we are leaders. We're people of a lot of influence. We're people that your employees will look up to. They'll respect every word that you say, and then you use these words. It does harm their identity. You don't even need to think about it as from leader to employee. Think of your, even as a parent to children. You know, what were words that your folks used with you, and that formed your identity. You know, and it can be good or it can be very, very negative, that you carry it along with you for the next 10 to 20, 30, 50 years. So if I may, feedback, not using generalized words. allows that person to see exactly what he or she has done without it harming their identity, and then they can become better individuals the next time they try. Okay, so this is very, very important. Another very, very important thing to also look at. Okay, you see, in coaching mistakes, how many of you know what I'm talking about? There are two types of people. All right, so when you are making how do I put this? When you make a mistake, all right, so it's something wrong, it's a boo-boo, okay? There are a few ways to motivate the person, because when the person makes a mistake, you also want to help the person say, okay. And you see, the thing why motivation is important is that um, motivation helps the person want to become a better version, right? So if I'm not motivated, okay, I make the same mistake over and over again. I make the same mistake over and I don't care to change. That means there's no motivation. What is motivation, ladies and gentlemen? Motivation is energy. And energy, your emotion, your energy, you want to. So you're using your energy, you're expending your energy to become a better person. You need to expend good energy and focus to avoid making that mistake, right? So if I may, as a good coach or as a good leader that knows how to coach, you want to identify what are the dominant motivators for your employee. Now you're able to tell, okay, now let me take a step back. When I say dominant motivators, how many of you are familiar that there are generally two motivators for the human being? So human beings generally want to move toward something that gives pleasure, all right? Pleasure, opportunities, goals, targets, vision, right? So they want to move towards something. And then there's also the other motivator. The other motivator is is also a very dominant, it can be a dominant motivator, a motivator of moving away from pain, stopping the pain. Whatever that's hurting me right now, I want to stop this. I want to. So if I may, human beings have two motivations. One is towards something and one is away from something. So if I may, yeah, when you are motivating your employees, you're motivating your team members to, hey, this mistakes, it's getting in the way of your opportunity to go to the next level. So you're having those conversations based on their dominant motivators. So are you having conversations around motivating the person with vision and opportunities? Yeah, with showing them it's getting in the way of where you could go moving forward? Or are you going to have a conversation around, hey, these are the consequences if you keep making these mistakes? Okay, you keep letting go of all these sales leads. What's going to happen is your commissions are just going to be cut. These are the structures, and we don't bring in enough sales, we're not going to be able to pay enough bonuses, we're not going to be able to help this community. So the consequence discussion versus the vision, the pain discussion versus the pleasure. Now, how do you know? How do you know what each other's dominant motivator? And as a leader, you probably want to know what your dominant motivator is as well. You want to know, as a leader, what's your own motivator. Do you know that? Now, this is very important, because that's why business owners or leaders, they have self-mastery, because they know how to motivate self. Motivation is not something that someone does for you. It's something you do for yourself. It is your primary responsibility to be motivated. So what motivates you? And when you know that about yourself, can you then help your employees? Sure thing, right? So this is very important. I'll give you an opportunity later with one of our leadership intelligence tools that you can use. And this is going to be able to show you a lot about yourself. Jovelyn, hey, how's it going? Yeah, long time no see, Jovelyn. Jovelyn is logging in from Philippines. Yeah, you're from Manila. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Yeah, but I think you move around quite a bit, so it's fantastic. Thank you for joining in the show. All right. So the motivator, understanding someone's dominant motivator. Even if you don't do the leadership intelligence tool that I told you about, that's called AccuMatch, all right? Even if you don't do that, I'll talk about that later on. Even if you don't do that, the conversation that you can have, all right? So when you meet somebody next, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on this live stream, when you meet somebody next, please ask them, so how do you feel about the year? How is your career? Ask an open-ended question. How is year 2020 for you? How's business? All right, open-ended questions, guys. See if they go toward what they can do, the vision. See if they talk more about that, what they can move toward, or see if they're talking about, oh my gosh, this has been a horrible year. Clients have halved, oh my gosh, we have to work from home, shut down the office. So are they talking more about the things that you're going away from, the consequences? When you ask an open-ended question, see where they take it. You'd also be able to identify the person's dominant motivator. And in identifying your employees' mistakes, you want to make sure you're also motivating them using the right motivator. Okay? So one of the key things, guys, if you're getting a lot of value here, guys, please just let me know. And if you have questions, I'm really, really happy to handle the questions for you, gang. It's not, oh, okay, all right. Dhammasara Heights, woohoo! All right, cool. Nice to have you. Very near where we are. Okay, very, very near. Too near. Okay. And every part of KL is just too small. All right. Okay. And so if you are getting a lot of value so far, guys, just give me a bit of a heart, yeah? And also give me a quick shout out. What are some of the points that you're taking away so far? And if you have questions, even better, all right? If you have questions, a lot of what I'm sharing with you guys here, gang, are a lot of experience that I've been getting from coaching many different businesses, many different senior teams, and we'll bring them all together from many different layers. And a lot of time, the issue is in managing people. So what I'm here to do is to share with you how you manage people. And you see, some of these instances are so funny. They're so funny, but because, we do them, and then when it's time for us to do them with other people, it just becomes, it's like we forgot, or it's just different. No, but it's the same, if I may. Yeah, so, hey, how do I pronounce that? Regli, R-G-L-I? Yeah, Joblin, I like to listen from you. I'm so motivated. Same here. Awesome. I'm so happy that you're here. All right. So if I get into the next topic here, guys, okay. So when your employees make mistakes, this is very, very important. Okay. When your employees make mistakes, being a good coach, yeah. Okay. Let me share with you what a lot of business owners and what a lot of leaders tend to do. A lot of business owners and leaders, when the employee makes a mistake, what people tend to do, all right, and some of us have done it before, me included, all right, is that, oh my gosh, this is so wrong. Oh dear. And I don't have time. The customer is coming tomorrow. I am just gonna, so when mistakes do happen, what do? We take it back. All right, so we take it back. Now, when we take it back, number one, the employee is not learning. Okay. Number two, we become the bottleneck. All right, can you see this? We're the bottleneck because the more things we take back, that will only hurt our productivity. And then we start resenting having employees because why am I hiring you if I'm taking all your work back? But it began with, as the leader, I took the work back. And the more work I take back, I'm busy doing. I'm not coaching. Can you see that downward spiral, right? So if I may, the key thing is the words in red, do not take it back. Do not take the work back. And in order for you to not take the work back, you gotta make sure that the customer is not just coming tomorrow and you're checking the work today. Nuh-uh, don't do that. That means you've got to be able to plan. You've got to give yourself longer timelines so that you can check the work and continue passing it back to your team, because in case they're all mistakes, in case there is it's a draft, that requires several, you need several takes on the draft, and instead of, all right, give the employee only a week to do the work, you might want to give him 3 weeks or give her 4 weeks to get that draft done. So if I may, you want to be able to plan well so that you don't have to take the work back, because it's the last thing you want to do, because it doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve the employee. So, and the key thing is, even if you need to, okay, ladies and gentlemen, even if you need to, okay, when you do take the work back and you do it for the said employee, all right, I've got her work done, I've got his work done. Even if you're going to do that, don't make it easy. When I say don't make it easy, when the mistakes have happened, you've had to step in, you've had to do her job for her, his job for him, whatever. Don't make it easy, which means that get that employee who made the mistake, all right, to do some homework, extra assignments. All right, so when I took the work back from you, what happened? Can you give me a review? I want a 2-pager on how you're going to avoid making these mistakes. See, don't make it easy. When mistakes happen, and okay, that's good, so Marissa just took the work away from me, good, so we're actually making their lives a lot easier. So, and when we take the work back, we're training the employees to say, don't worry, if you screw up, your boss is just going to do it for you. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure that you avoid that, because guys, it's not that it's not that they're like that. You're training them to do that with you. You're training them to give you the last minute stuff so that you can be the bottleneck. You work all night and then you've got to do your work for them. That's what you're training them to do. So be very, very cautious that you're not programming your employees to do that with you. Is that making sense, guys? Yeah, that's totally awesome, Jovelyn. DXN, MLM business. Oh, very, very good. Multi-level, lots of leadership, lots of working with people, coaching people, absolutely. Tuning in, yay, thank you, Florence, nice having you. Okay, so this, guys, I hope this makes sense. Super, super important. Okay, and essentially, gang, I really love this photo. It reminds me of going hiking, and I really miss the mountains, guys. So for those of you who really love being outdoors, I really love being outdoors. Okay, so I really love this photo, but there's a very important subliminal message here, because eventually, and I want to share this story with you. I'll share the story of a media company, and they interviewed Bill Gates. So they were interviewing Mr. Gates based on a mistake that one of his CTOs made, and his chief technology officer. And this was Bill Gates being the CEO at that time. Can't remember the name of the CTO, but when he was being interviewed, the interviewer asked him about this super huge mistake that was done by his chief technology officer, and Microsoft lost to the score of $2 million because of that mistake. And so then the interviewer asked, are you gonna fire this guy? Are you gonna fire this CTO for making Microsoft lose all this money? And you know what Bill Gates said? He says, well, why am I going to fire him now? Why would I do that? He just costed me money. I'm at this point, I'm going to keep him. So he's just cost Microsoft that much money. Why fire him now? And so the reason why I shared it with you is that, sometimes as leaders, as business owners, as employers, we don't realize this. It's not an easy path to be a leader or it's not easy. There are a lot of things that we have to learn, but if I may, it's not the salaries, it's not the training, it's not the nice office, the bean bags, the unlimited coffee machine. It's not those things that you're really investing in your employees. What you're really investing in, a lot of people say investing in their growth, fair. But really, as leaders, we're investing in their mistakes. Our job as leaders is to enable a safe space for them to make all these mistakes. And yeah, there are so many different types of leaders, and they say as well, yeah, at the end of the day, the buck stops at the leader. When people make mistakes, yeah, you don't turn your back on your team, you don't do, yeah, fair enough. All those are all amazing stuff, but at the end of the day, as a leader, when you build a team, you are investing in their mistakes. Why? Because when they make those mistakes, yeah, and you can't protect them from making those. When they make those mistakes, they're only gonna go a whole other level. They're going to learn from it, and then they're going to make your life a lot easier as they learn to lead, as they overcome mistake after mistake after mistake. Yeah, and as they grow with you, these mistakes grow as well. When you're at an executive level, you make small mistakes like typos, and you make small mistakes. But when your leaders grow with you, they tend to also make bigger mistakes, right? They make bigger mistakes. And so for me, as you go along, that's really the true function of a leader, is investing in those mistakes. And the longer that they are with you, and they've made more of those, they're able to learn what's the next thing that they should do, so that they can lead as well and make your life a whole lot easier. So that's exactly what you're doing as a leader. Okay, so this is very, very important. Essentially, as leaders, this is who we are. All right, so this is very, very powerful. Okay, so gang, I shared with you a little bit about the leadership intelligence tool for you to understand yourself better. So for those of you who really want to know who I am, and then of course I can coach my team, I can make them a whole lot better. Of course, this entire report, it's a really powerful and intense report. It's an assessment, of course. If those of you are familiar with assessments, it's a leadership intelligence assessment. 26 pages, yeah, of 10 very, very powerful areas where you learn how to act, you learn how you execute, you learn how you make decisions, you learn how you take action. Number 4, you learn about your motivation. Some of you are going to be higher motivated by pleasure, and some of you are going to be higher motivated by pain, by getting away from something. We'll know. So you're going to be able to see that all through your leadership intelligence programs. Yeah, you'll be able to see your motivation, you'll be able to see how you build trust with people. Oh, but the one that I really love is how you handle pressure and stress. All right, so you can actually see, so some people will handle stress through emotions, right? And they're like, they'll start crying, or they're like, they'll let it go. Some people handle stress by being very logical. So you can see what kind of a person you are as well. And if you are on this live stream now, guys, this is the good news that I have for you. If you are, gang, all you need to do is key in on this link. It's a 48 hours. We are still Malaysia, we're still on MCO, but MCO stands for Movement Control Order. So we're in the recovery stage, and I'm so thankful that we're going to go back into as near a norm as possible for our economies. Thank goodness for that. So if you are interested, guys, oops, let me try and make this a little bit bigger. Okay, if you cannot see this, guys, I've made it a little bit bigger so that you can click on the link that my team has left inside the live comment. And if you text us now, all right, we'll give it to you at 280 ringgit. This includes the report that is at 850 ringgit. And the debrief is usually at 1500, 1,500 ringgit. The report and the debrief customized to you. Today only for the next 48 hours is 280. Okay, it's a steal anywhere. It is a steal, guys. All right, so if I may, if you're really interested for that, please click on the link. Okay, wow, it's very true. We sometimes forget that employee development is about applying ideas on the job. Thank you, Jean. And many a time mistakes happen. That's part and parcel of development. Yeah, that's right. It's part and parcel of developing self. And when mistakes are happening, it means the person is moving forward. If I am in a team or in a company where there are no mistakes, all right, which is highly impossible, 0 mistakes, all right, it could be, number one, people are not taking risks. Yeah, nobody is taking any risk, because mistakes only happen outside the comfort zone, right? So if I am doing something new, I will likely make a mistake. right? So if people are not making the number one, number two, if people are not making mistakes, there's zero mistakes. Are people pushing under the carpet? Okay, so there are a lot of those things that we have to be aware of as well. So mistakes are creating the safe haven for mistakes to happen can be a very good thing because you're encouraging your people, your teams to try, to attempt, to explore, all right, to take risks. Okay, so that's very crucial. Sometimes sometimes the employees repeat the same mistake. As a leader, how do you deal with repeated mistakes? Oh, it's very, very good, Nisa. If the mistake is repeated, okay, number one, we look at the system. So is it a systems mistake? Is it a procedural mistake? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 should not be before 5? That's why the mistake keeps happening. So is it a systemic mistake? All right. And if other people, so this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this procedure is well implemented by anybody else, everybody else, A, no problem, B, no problem, C, no problem, but X has a problem. Okay, so then it could be the person. Then if it is a person mistake, it is a talent, then you also need to see if this person is in the right position, in the right role. I used to remember, yeah, as an analyst when I was working in Beneficare, we all had to look at Microsoft Excel. We all had to go into those formulas. But for something so simple, it would take me almost 3 hours to crack my head. And my colleague just over here, I still remember his name. His name is Steven. Brilliant guy, yeah? I mean, he's gone on into departments of treasury and he's making all this big money for banks. I mean, you need a certain way of thinking. So the way he could solve the problem immediately. So what would take me 3 hours took him 15 minutes. So then it could be a talent. So that's why it's still important to position the right people to do the right things in the business, because it can also sometimes, if the mistakes keep happening, it can feel like if you're a fish, you're born with fins, but you're asked to climb a tree, or you're a monkey and then you're asked to swim. It could be hazardous. So it can be done, but it's going to be a struggle. So Nisa, that's fantastic. So I'd answer this in, is it a systemic issue, with the procedures, the steps, or is it the talent? But both have to be worked out. Fantastic. Investing in mistakes, Jean, we remind me about how finding the right formula on the 100th try actually required 99 times of making mistakes. Absolutely. Thank you. And for those of you who are you've come this far and you're saying, gosh, I need to learn how to coach. Now, this is very, very powerful because, as I shared with you, a lot of leaders, a lot of people that we come across, and they come into our seminars, a lot of people that come into our seminars, they go into management positions, they grow into their positions. And, I typically speak to a lot of people who are like programmers. When they start their career, they're very, very good at coding. They're very, very good at programming, and solving problems. But, little do they know, and then they go along, they become a senior programmer, they solve bigger problems, and then boom, somebody gives them a CTO, Chief Technology Officer position, and they're going, great, so I'm getting paid triple the times when I first started, when I graduated. But now, my job as a CTO is not to code. My job is to manage other people to code. So if I may, the challenge for a lot of people who are leaders or even business owners, the challenge is coaching and managing people, leading people, getting results through others is not something that can easily be done. So, and a lot of time people come to me and say, Marissa, how do I do that? So that's why a lot of our team, the Spark Group Asia, we've dedicated a lot of time to teaching people the skill of coaching. That's a skill that we have, but we're not going to teach it to you as a third-party profession. We're going to teach it to you as a skill that you will use for leadership. So this is the Coach Foundation program, guys. So if you can take a look at that, the Coach Foundation program is divided into 3. So you've got 3 webinars. They actually start next week. So you've got webinar number 1 on enabling change as a coach. You're going to know how to create change and how do people create change, the psychology of change. And when you lead a team, you need to understand people. So that's on the 30th of June. Each webinar is for 2.5 to 3 hours, guys. All right. And it's a closed group. It's not live like this. It's a closed group where the group doesn't get very big. There's a lot of exchange, a lot of questions throughout as well. Webinar number 2 is on leadership intelligence for managers. So that's where you're going to get your report, your leadership intelligence report. You're going to get that along with 26 pages, and we're going to teach you how to understand your team. Webinar number 3 on the 7th of July is effective coaching. So we're going to give you the 9 core coaching skills on how to coach your team. So we're going to teach you all of the coaching skills, including setting the plan, building the plan, asking questions, and there's a host of giving feedback. There's a whole host of important skills in there as well. Okay. We've given it for these 3 webinars. Some people actually want to only sign up for 1 webinar. That's also fine. Yeah, if you want to sign up for 1 webinar, it's 647. If you sign up for 2, it's 1097, and if you sign up for all 3, it's 1597. But guys, remember this: each of these webinars, there is a lifetime membership to review. Now, this is very, very unique. A lot of people love us for this. Yeah, it's very unique because when you invest for all the webinars for the Coach Foundation program, we will give you a certificate and you will have a lifetime review. That means any other time within the 4 times a year that we run the CFP, you're invited to come back for a review, which means that you can relearn any number of times forever, where you get to meet other entrepreneurs, other leaders, and you get to learn, you get a different view of things. Of course, all we ask is a small token where you cover some of the coffee cost, the material cost, but otherwise it's a lifetime membership to review. Only today, we're actually going to cut if you're looking at the 3 webinars, guys, instead of paying 1597 in the next 48 hours, all right? Carmelita, nice to see you. Woo-hoo. All right, nice to see you guys jumping in. All these familiar names, only for today. Okay, guys, if I can make this bigger, I hope you guys can see it. Instead of 1597, it's only 1197. 3 webinars out, and hopefully, we get to bring, we already have an amazing group of leaders and business owners in here, so please jump in if you're interested. But guys, if you think this is awesome, hang on a minute, hold on to your seat, because what I'm going to tell you next is this. All right, gang, so hang on a minute, okay? Now, only for the first 3 packs, valid for the next 2 hours, we are literally hiving it down from 1597 to 1197 to 897. Unbelievable, guys. So if I may, if this is interesting to you, do not wait. Do not wait. Only for the first 3 packs right after this, only valid for 2 hours. It is under 1,000 bucks for 3 webinars. You're going to be able to do an unlimited review forever at only 897, and will teach you how to lead and how to coach. So if I may, this is a steal, guys. We're doing this, and this is next week, so please book your time. If you're interested, please reach out to the team. Registration forms are within the live comment, inside the comments as well. Okay. Woohoo! Phew! All right. Okay, gang. Do you have any questions? Anybody's got any questions as I start to wrap up today, guys? All right. It is Friday afternoon. It's pretty awesome. Whew, I'm bushed out. I'm bushed out from this amazing week. This has been a week of so many activities. So, guys, if you've got any questions, pop them in. Otherwise, give me a quick. Am I done with this? Ah, thank you. Yeah. So for those of you who have gotten a lot out of today, this ends up today's live session, just under an hour. As you know, from the Spark Group Asia, there is me and my team of coaches. We're constantly adding value to many different parts of the community. Yeah, so we have programs where we work with business owners. We have programs where we work with leaders, with management teams. All in all, it's about education. So as you can see, a lot of our work is around education, around awareness. We do so many live streams. Yeah, and it's important. Now, it's really, really important because it's also a part of helping the community. This is what we can do now. And we teach in bite size. We know sometimes as business owners, it's challenging to park yourself out for 1 day or for 2 days. So we bring all this information to you at bite size. So if you've gotten a lot from today, let me know. Tell me what you've learned. Tell me what you've learned today. What is your key takeaway today? Some of you have been asking really amazing questions. Just let me know. So pop it in there so that I know that you've taken something away. And if you are keen on more of our great topic, thank you. Really appreciate it. I can't see what that icon is at the end. It looks like a teddy bear, or it's a I can't see what that is. No problem. But otherwise, guys, thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Do join us for more events moving forward. And I hope to see you in the Coach Foundation program or any of our programs where you learn more about yourself. All right. So I'm signing out. Again, my name is Marissa, CEO of the Spark Group Asia. Please, if you've gotten value today, please like our page at the Spark Group Asia. Please also be a part of our Facebook group. All of you, our Facebook group is Leaders of the New Norm. Okay. Investing in mistakes. I love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Jean. And those of you who have gotten a lot of value, and some of you are familiar names. Jovelyn is definitely a familiar name. Some of you have been following us throughout, even when we started the movement control order. We've seen some amazing people that have been following our work and keep learning. We don't mind. It's not like you have to purchase or invest in anything. All we're happy is that you learn and you apply something in your business. That's good enough for us. All right. And if I may, I want to invite you to give a review. Give us a review. We're hot on our heels, working on improving our Google page as well. So if you can give us a review, just a quick 2 seconds, leave us a quick review clicking on the page over here. That's a bit.ly, but if you can click on the link, that will be better. I'll send you straight to the page and you can leave us any number of stars you want. Yeah, of course, there's only a maximum of 5 stars, but if you can leave 6, why not? Or 8, that's up to you. Yeah, so leave it as a link. It'll be easier to be able to get hold of that later on. So thank you very much, guys. Signing off. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in future events. Take care and bye for now.